Alright guys, welcome back. So now we are going to the second part, which is going to be talking about the inventory data that traders have. And as you can kind of saw in the last part, as I swap between different IDs, you got to see the stock actually change dynamically. And this actually happens before the dish is technically capable of having that data. So like the right now the current one is the medium one, the 5x5. And if I just have the dish kind of just turning, I still see the data. So you are capable of getting this data information before the dish even has a chance to, fill up the signal ID and stuff. And this can be a boon for you, especially if you can lock onto the far tier trader. You can feed the signal ID to the filter so that the medium dish can tell you what it has in stock. And that can at least let you know if you should even keep pursuing the far tier aligning or just abandon it. So let's let's get to this. So one thing I forgot to mention the last time in the last part, I completely forgot. When setting up the hashtag to read the gas data, you actually will need to use an IC10 because I could not find the logic IO for writing to the slot data. Like everything I see is just not really that. So we have readers, we just have batch writers. So I don't see anything about slot writing, so you have to actually use an IC10. But that is not difficult per se to do. First, you have to assign the pin because I don't know that we have pin IDs for that because I don't think we have a SBNS. Nope, no SBNS, SBS. Ooh, so we technically could do SBSs, but that could be problematic because then you'll write all of the slot index for that. SS, SDS, nope. SSD, nope. No solid state drives. So double S. Double S command, when paired with a pin, like the 0 for example, slot index is 0 for the hash type ID, and we want to change the mode to a 1. So basically doing a command like this, double S, D0, 0 mode 1, change the hash display to be a gas prefab hash display. So I forgot to go over that on the last time, so that should take care of that. So now let's hit the op commands. So recall that I said that in the previous part that you can actually tell where the dish will be storing this data with opcode 1, opcode 5, and opcode 6. So, and like I said before, right now I have pushed opcode 5. The write index is 10, and I'm writing 9 inventory information. And I did the same thing with write cell data, opcode 6, except this one is going to 20 and it's writing 9. And that should be in my stack writer. Okay, I got it. Yeah. 10 for a count of 9, 20 for a count of 9, and it follows the same thing, Write index, bit shift left 8. The count, how many to write, bit shifted 16. So yeah. Let's see. Count, bit shifted 16. The index, bit shifted 8. Then I add my opcode at the end. And I'm putting it in stack pointer 9 for the buy data, aka their cell tab. And I'm putting their cell data, aka their buy tab, in 6. And I'm giving me some space so that I can put some filters in between. Like I still have 7 and 8 for filter data for 9, and let's see, 4 and 5 for filter data for 6. So this gives me some leeway. And so when I do that, then I basically go to the inventory chip, which now, which will now attempt to read the stack information. And thankfully, the read is pretty much the same logic for that. So trader buying data is opcode 7, 8, and 9. Opcode 7 is for buy data for a thing. opcode 8 is triggered by thing child data, and that's basically for like the package boxes, like the ship repair packages or the boxes of canned goods and stuff. What you get is a parent, I believe is going to be in 7, and then you'll have its individual stock follows as an 8. And then the last one is by gas data, and that's for the gas types. So three codes for the by data, basically what's in their cell tab. And then you basically have 3 codes for the cell data, which is the stuff in the by tab. And as you can kind of see, they have the exact same structure. So technically you can just, so long as you have an opcode 7 through 12, you can do the same bit shifting to get your quantity and the prefab hash. Now one thing to note is the cell gas data is an opcode 11, not 12. For some reason they do cell thing data, then cell gas data, then cell thing child data compared to the by thing. So, and what I have in the logic is I use an index to get the code, and it's basically going to be looking at 10 all the way up to where is it? Up to 18 or 20 to 28. And then depending on the opcode determines what it does with that data. And I have it all split up, and this is just to kind of show you that it is quite literally the same logic. We got my quantity mask, my hash mask, quantity mask, hash mask, same bit shifting across all 6 of those. The only thing that differs is the gas data goes to empty gas, and it looks for an empty memory chip for storing gas data for the display. And then it does the same, and the wheres does the same thing, looks for an empty memory chip that will show the product ID for the console. I got it separated. You could technically create a system where you dynamically update the console based on the data you're putting in, but I find that is a little problematic because after all, you can't do an SBNS or an SDS or something like that to set the slot data of the hash. So at least for me, I'm kind of limiting myself. I can only get potentially 5 products, but clearly if I'm trying to read 9 products, I'm going to fill it as best as I can based on what I have. So if my product data fill up, then I'm only going to see the first 3. So hopefully I can see enough to kind of get an idea of what the trader is selling. Same thing with the gas data, but I can only see 2 of those. But gas and liquid trading is not very common, so I feel like I'm less likely to get those. But anyways, so I create the masks, and like I said last time, to create a mask, however many hexadecimal Fs you need is based on this number byte. So here 8 divided by 4 means I need 2 Fs, whereas compared to here 32 divided by 4 I need 8 Fs, and then I just gotta still follow the mask. So based on where it is. So for quantity I need 2 zeros then 2 Fs, or for the prefab hash I need 2 zeros, 2 zeros, so a total of 4 zeros, and then my 8 Fs. And that's kind of what you see in my logic right here. And since it has the exact same thing across all the opcodes, these 3 are enough. Whew. So as far as logic goes, getting the data, it will write the data. It will write the data for what the trader has and display on here. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, why does my tomato flicker? Well, when we look at an empty can, you can notice that its prefab hash ID is a positive number. But now if we look at tomato, negative hash number. So one thing to keep a note of is the hash display chip has got to see the entire prefab hash string. When the tomato flickers, you see that it is briefly a different number. And that large positive number is actually what the hash ID comes out from the trader before another chip is actually fixing that. So what it is doing, where is my tab? I am checking my console and looking at the setting. If the setting does not match what my memory chip is, then I have a separate chip, which is the hash fixer housing, that runs to fix those. So it's constantly checking these three, and if the setting does not match, the console setting does not match its respective memory chip, that means I have an invalid hash, and therefore it will attempt to run the negative, or fill in the missing bits for that hash. So let me just bring it up real quick. And the way it does it is, for the fix, I just basically OR. So we already are given that first 8 hexadecimal digits, and so all I gotta do is do an OR to add the missing 8 hexadecimal, or basically 32 bits of 1. So I gotta get all of these ones in there, and that basically changes the number to a negative, and that fixes my display. So fair warning that when you get the trader ID, if your item has a negative prefab hash, you need to fix it before your console can actually display it. So that's something I was not expecting, but there we go. Maybe the devs can fix or do something with it. So yeah. So that basically takes care of the reading data quite a bit, those opcodes, as well as just the straightforward write trader data. So now let's get to the nitty-gritty details and start to work with the filtering. So let me briefly change this to the far tier trader, because the far tier trader is basically my seed trader. So you can tell he's got all these seeds. So the first one that we are going to work with, not my tomato. There we go. This is what I want to work with. Oh, come on. The first filter is the prefab hash equals filter. That one is very simple. When you load this to the stack before a write instruction, you're going to actively look to see if any items match this prefab hash ID. So if we go to my write, let's say I wanted to see if this far tier trader has a Darga Fern. So we go to the prefab hash equals. So this is basically it. I'm putting this in 6. No, can't do 6. Because that's that right there. I'm going to put it in 5. Because otherwise I'd be overriding this code. So I got to put it in 5 and just put Darga right here. So what I'm telling it is, I want to see if this trader has a Darga Fern in stock in the very next write instruction, which would be the buy tab, the sell data. Still confuses me to see them backwards. So it's going to still put all my data in 20. It's still going to try to give me 9 items, but they will have this filter to make sure that my Darga Fern, to see if my Darga Fern is one of them. So I'm going to get that and write it. So now we watch. Did I put it in the wrong spot? I probably did. Make sure I didn't put it in the wrong spot. Oh, that's just why. I had some other stuff that I was testing. Oh, ooh, I'm glad it wasn't something dumb like messed up. There we go. See, this trader has no Darga Ferns. I don't have any wares for Darga Ferns. And we can actually go and confirm with this guy. If I scroll down, yeah, he does not have Darga Ferns. Okay, but you saw that he had an alpha strain, a winter spawn alpha. And so that's what that winter is for. So let's go back down here and put winter. So now we're checking to see if he has the winter spawn alpha. And as you can see, it shows up, so that means he does have winter spawn alpha. You know, I can do something, I can even add a tropical lily. So let's, define tropical. So tropical lily, get that hash ID. And as you can tell, this is a negative hash ID, and that will still work. So let's see, will it show up tropical lily, which is trop. Export. There it is. See? So that one is extremely simple to work with, considering that all it is you just add a hash ID. The very next operator code is 14, and that is prefab hash not equals. And you can see that I already have this active and I put it in 7. So that affects my trader's cell tab. And that's the thing, you can put multiple codes in a specific spot. So basically what I could put a code in 7 and I could put a code in 8 for a filter, and they'll both affect the cell tab. It works like an AND instruction. So both of those filters must be true for me to display data. So in this case, what I do is I have the prefab hash for the cardboard box. So what I am telling my code is I don't want to see cardboard box data at all. And let's change this to my cell tab. And you can see plant genetic splicer, plant gene analyzer, plant sampler, and a fuel mix and CO2. So that's what it's telling me. But what if I comment out that filter prefab hash for a box and export it? Aha, see? Now it's telling me there is a cardboard box that he wants to buy that probably needs duct tape and filter of CO2. It kind of muddies my data because now I'm getting a lot of extra items in there. And as you can see, I still see the fuel mix that it wants, but I'm also not seeing the CO2 anymore show up on that. So yeah, there's that. And so that's kind of why I'm trying to keep the cardboard box in there so that I don't see cardboard box. Okay, so that takes care of the hash not equal. So those two are fairly simple. You're either looking for a specific item or don't want to see a specific item. So now we got the sorting class compare. And just like before, it looks for the sorting class like with the logic sorter. It's not the slot type. It's specifically the sorting class. So you need the operator code, the condition operation, equals, less, greater, not equal, and then you need a sorting class. So for that one, just use sorting class.food if you need to find them. Once again, click on the X, search for sorting because apparently that works, and then you can see all the different items that it could be. So yeah. So let's say I want to look for only the sorting class of food. That's the only thing I want available to me. And I'll put it on opcode. So basically, I only want food to show up in my sorting class. And by foods, that's going to be basically like your cakes and things like that. So that's going to be an 8, which means for the cell tab. So let me see if first I'll export it. And you see that everything cleared away from here because clearly this guy is not willing to buy food. So let's change this to a -1. I want to see if another trader is willing to buy food. I don't know why I did that. So nope. 77.87. Yeah, it looks like no trader is willing to buy food. So let's change that a bit because I guess I chose the wrong kind for that. So no trader is willing to buy food from me. What about buy resources? Would there be a trader that's willing to buy resources from me? So let's do that again. Export. Let's change this to -1. Ah, okay. So, resources. Apparently, tomatoes, cocoa, and sugarcane are resources because they're not getting filtered out. This is my medium trader, which is Galactic Groceries. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so let's add an opcode for the buy tab since I want to see what Galactic Groceries has. So MSAT and 6 encode. If nope, can't use 6. Got to use 5. So let's use 5. Make sure there's no other 5s. So I want to see resources from Galactic Groceries. Milk, soy, oil, and flour counts as resources? So what if I do food for them? Where am I at? Right here. So let's comment that out. Now I want to search for food from Galactic Groceries. Let's see what that shows me. Okay, I see chocolate bars, chocolate cake, and cake. So you see that's how the sorter works. It helps you define to see specific items, but again, you're at the mercy of the very broad description of what the sorting class gives you. So yeah. So let me just comment these out. Don't want that in there. This next one, unfortunately, I don't know what it does. Filter quantity compare. So I'm at the buy data. So let's put this code in 5. What I thought this was gonna do is show me the quantity that an item of how much they will buy or sell. Since I have that trader down, let's put the filter back on for 6072. So this robot, has a stock of 3 winter spawn alpha. So what I thought would be that if I set the quantity to equals to 3, I would only see the winter spawn alpha. And we can confirm right now that I don't see that at all. So let's do that. Count equals to 3 for the buy data, which, yep, 5 works, making sure I don't have any other codes, because I do that quite a lot. And so, nothing. I'm not seeing anything. So, I don't know what that quantity tab is referencing. Because when I have a filter for 1, I see all my items return. See, fern, mushroom, and corn. I don't know what this filter is all about. Because, that's basically the stock. Fern, mushroom, and corn. So I really don't know what operator code 16 is modifying. I'm hoping to get some information on that from the devs. And then I can probably do a comment or a note to say what it's for. My guess is that it is looking for how many times an item shows up. But I can't say that that's really what it is. Because if I were to remove the box hash, that should allow me to see this. So, I see the cardboard box. Like, I would think if I put a filter of 2, and I'll put that in code 7, where the box is negated, I would have thought that I would have seen something here too, but I'm not. Which kind of leads me to think that there's something else that it's modifying. And I'm not entirely sure what that is. So I need to wait. I need to roll a trader and land them to see if they have 2 packages and set for 2 and see if I see both cardboard boxes in here. So that'll be my next test for that. So unfortunately, I don't know what that filter quantity does. I thought it meant for how much of an inventory. but clearly it's not. And I say that because technically, when I'm reading my data, I see how much they have available to sell, and I do have that data. I'm just not displaying that, and I am also filtering for it, but I'm just not putting it anywhere. So yeah, that's the only filter I do not know. So next comes the filter gas contains and filter gas not contains. And so that one is a filter that shows you what the data is. Orbiting oxygens is still here, 3 by 3, so that's good. So let's change you back to 7787. And so what you can see is right now for the cell, he's willing to, the trader's willing to buy oxygen and CO2 from me. And he's willing to sell me. Do I have a filter on? I hope I didn't put a filter on. I did not. I guess he's not willing to buy any gases from me. I'm trying to remember. Look, I get myself really confused with them because of the fact that that's how it is. 6072. Yeah, 6072 is what he's buying from me. Okay, got it. $77.87 is orbiting oxygens. That's strange that there's undefined gases for orbiting oxygens. He's supposed to be able to sell me a lot more than that. Anyways, so let's go to filter IDs. So this one is a fairly interesting one. You can just use a gas type .fuel, and that gives you the binary bit data for what you're interested in seeing. So let's say I want to see if fuel is a potential buy or sell. And let's get the cardboard box in there. I don't want to see that data. So export it. And so you see, apparently this trader does have oxygen and volatiles to sell to me. And he's also willing to buy ISIS from me and oxygen. So that's something that interested me in basically what the trader data is. Something about the field. This filter is not looking for just the bits. It's kind of like a AND instruction. So fuel is bits 0 and 3. But what I've noticed is fuel is bits 0 for oxygen and 3 for volatiles. So basically, let me change this real quick. I'll comment that out. So if I do move gas bit gas type dot volatiles, for example, and send that in, I will see just the volatiles show up. And see, it shows up twice because I believe, but because gas traders sell polluted volatiles, which is a mixture of pollutants and volatiles. And you can see that for this, because fuel doesn't have both, it's just not going to show it up. But if I were to add to gas bit, actually I don't even have to do that, gas type dot oxygen, that basically puts the filter for both volatiles and oxygen together, and I will see my oxygen show up. And on the cell data, I still see oxygen show up, which is actually a very interesting thing to me that it actually that filter does allow me to see both. So it's not just that gas. It's basically what contains the gas mixtures. So, another thing. If I wanted to find steam and water, see if a trader is selling steam or water. I know a gas trader will sell both steam and water. So, when I do this, you see I do have a gas trader selling me water and steam. Let's see if he wants to buy it. Nope, he does not want to buy water or steam. And then if I change this, like before with that, to liquid nitrogen, I know they will not sell liquid nitrogen. So you see, I can see water and steam as something I can buy from him. If I export asking for water or liquid nitrogen, I mean steam or liquid nitrogen, you see now he only shows steam because he has steam to sell me, no liquid nitrogen to sell me. So that's kind of what the gas bit filter is actually pretty neat in doing. So, but that's operator code 17 for contains. Now, what if I want to do not contains? So, let me just confirm this code. Let me go back to 6072. Well, actually, first let's export it. So let's say I don't want to see fuel. I don't want to see a trader with fuel mix. So let's export, and you see that oxygen drops off that list from the gas trader. Strangely enough, it does not drop off oxygen from the list of buying. I know they sell oxygen, which is kind of interesting how some stuff just doesn't quite work the way that I expected. And I know that this trader is willing to buy fuel from me. So let me just go -1. Oh, I have a new trader. I have what seems like, yeah, I have the alloy trader. Orbitor Outfitters is the alloy trader. That's cool. This always confuses me. 1 equals buy, this is what I buy. 0 is sell, what I can sell to him. Yeah, 6072. Looks like I gotta get that in there. Yeah, buy is what I buy. That is what I... See, this trader will buy CO2 and water from me. And that is after I put the fuel filter on. So, see, I'm removing the fuel from that cell list. And if I can remove that mask, I see fuel show up in CO2. You see the water got pushed off. So yeah, with that, that runs through all the commands. And you see fuel, CO2, water. And so the case for this. So I'm gonna go on ahead and force a trader reroll and see if I can get a far tier hydroponics trader to show up again. That's building. And so what I want to do is I want to filter to see if they have a Darga Fern when I get a successful reroll of the trader. But first I will need to find them. So filter have Darga. I want it in 5 for the buy tab. Make sure that there's no other 5 anywhere. No other 5 anywhere. And let me do a quick trader reroll until I get a far tier hydroponics trader again. So be right back. Alright, it took like 10 rerolls, but I finally got green futures to show up. That I know that that's a far tier trader. The question is that somebody that I can read? So the medium dish can see them. The large dish says that more than likely the 7x7 is the closest. So I got the small tier is 8861. I want to see the buy data. 8875. So let's see what 8875 would be. $88.75 is the medium tier. So I do need to find them. I do need to get closer. So the beauty of this is, so let's get you close. The far tier is pretty close. I'm already really, really close with green futures. And I think that's who this guy is. No, that's not who that guy is. Because that's the 88.75. Do -1. That's right. 88.61 is the small tier. So I'm still trying to find the 9x9. So I will have to do something to try to get close to him. So the hard part is trying to rotate this in such a way that I find them. So 45 and 85. So maybe let's just start this way. Whoa, whoa, whoa! 8. That's it. That's the far tier trader. Oh, and you see they do have a Darga Fern because it shows up here. So with that, I know. Well, I'm already pretty close. My strongest trader is a 9 and 45, so I could do my mirroring to get my large dish headed that way. Well, if my large dish was at 88, so probably the closest signal would be about 40. I'm just going to guess. But I have a Darga Fern. That's the cool part. Do they have a winter cress? Darga. And now let's see if they have a winter crest. So I changed this to winter. And send it. Do they have a winter crest alpha? They do have a winter crest alpha. So they have a Darga and a winter crest alpha. And this is kind of something that you can do to fix up the code a bit. So you see right now I'm doing this separately. But I could build an array or something to put specific data in different spots. So for my buy tab, you know how I'm doing 20 and 9? I could do a code to get, Wintercrest, do 5 and then 6 right trader buy data. Then do another filter for somewhere else and put the trader buy data again to see if I can get just the Wintercrest. Let's see. Is there a tropical lily? Did I put that in the right place? Yes, I did. They don't have... Oh, they do have a tropical lily. Oh, joy. So they have Darga Fern, tropical lily, and wintercress. So let's see what my large dish. I should be really close with that. 24. Still not enough energy. So still got to do some tracking on that. So let's see what down 5 goes. And, you see, with this in mind, clearly I don't know what this trader had, but I really got a hit that I got some pretty good stock. And if I want to remove that prefab hash equals, I can just remove that and see what else they have. Okay, obviously I went worse because that went higher. And I can see obviously they have seeds. Apparently they're willing to buy some liquid pipes, planter, and genetic samplers, so. Let's try 55. So, yeah. So hopefully with that, you can kind of see where these commands are actually very helpful. So for this case, with the far tier trader, this is huge because after all, if I checked for those 3 plants and the trader didn't have any of those 3, why would I be spending the time trying to get this thing to align so that I can call this trader down? There's just no reason for that. Because after all, the large dish moves very slowly. It's going to take 3 minutes to contact them, and I got extremely close, so let me just move it 2 that way, maybe 1 that way. That's showing it. Might as well start contacting him. So yeah, so based on this, I should be looking at a pretty good trader, something that I want. Just to kind of do what it's saying. So I'm reading from 10 through 15. So what if I do... Let's put stuff in the cell tab starting at 12 and just 7. So it's not going to be a lot. So 5 and 6.
Power low.
And let's do... Move this to 8 so that I can put this at 9 for Darga. And then just repeat this. And put this in 10. That should work. Bring them down. There you go. See what I mean? I set up specific filters so that I can see. And this is something that you can do. If you can get your stack pointers aligned correctly, you can have certain spots for filter data and certain spots for non-filter data. So let me clear out my code. Because I don't want to keep it messy. I know, I am just prolonging the inevitable and put you back at 9. And let's just remove that. Make sure this all works right. There you go, all my seats back. Ooh, that's right, it's a plane. So yeah, we saw that he saw the Wintercrest Alpha, Darga Fern, and the Tropical Lily. So yeah, let's see. Wintercrest Alpha, Darga Fern, Tropical Lily. There you go, boom. And you see, I got that data before I finished scanning down the trader. That let me know whether it was even worth it for me to bother bringing him down. And once again, you see that this data is kind of stale. This tells me it's a far tier. I contacted him, yes. He's a large plane. Alright, so my thoughts on this. There's definitely a little bit more work to get these working. Writing to the dish is fairly simple in the sense that once you write the data, it's there. If you can properly plan the 32 bits for the trader, you will be, the stack data for the dish to get what you want. You can very easily create some spots where, in my case, I got all of this trader data. Do I really need to have the contact ID, shuttle type, how far it is, and this? Probably not. Like, I could use this to, again, turn on LED lights to tell me what type of trader it is. For my inventory stack, I'm trying to fill literally I'm trying to pull 9 inventory data for both types. And as you can kind of see, I don't really even have the space to even fit all of them. In fact, is this trader even selling box data? Because I am filtering that out. Yeah, he still wants the package. Actually, does he have 2 of the packages? Nope. Nope. Just 2 packages. And so if you plan out where in the stack register you're doing it, like maybe 9 items was too aggressive. Maybe I could have just settled for 5, maybe 6. Because after all, 5 in a perfect case would get me 3 items and 2 gases. It should be more than enough for me to know roughly what this trader is selling. 9 probably too much. Because I mean, if the trader is predominantly selling items, I'm not gonna see it. If the trader is selling predominantly gases, I'm not gonna see items. Same vice versa. But I think the biggest draw will be the filter commands. You know, if you are looking, for example, for the Darga Ferns or Wintercrest or something for like Venus or Vulcan, you could definitely plan out and have a script going just to see those specific pieces of information. You know, like just to look for a trader that has the Darga Ferns the the Wintercrest. You can just set up filters, have like consoles right here to see if this, you know, the appropriate filtered items are here. And then all you got to do is get the dish close to get their signal ID. After all, wow, I'm surprised how close that is. Because after all, you can get the small signal ID very easily with the small dish pointed at who knows where at the lowest power setting. Like that thing has to be almost exact to the medium trader for you to know what the medium trader is. And so you can at least use that to filter out, okay, that's my medium trader. That would be, I mean, my close trader, which is Cosmic Concoctions, which I believe is liquids. So I could do 8861. Yeah, liquid. They want to buy fuel, willing to buy ice water, and they're definitely selling liquids. 3 liquid canisters. I bet one is water, one is liquid N2, one is probably liquid O2. But yeah, with that, you can kind of see that. Because after all, setting the filter is pretty much all that you need. And a medium dish moves fast enough that as you saw, I was able to get the data for that relatively quick. And Interstellar Innovations, I believe, was close. No, that's Cosmic Concoctions. I think it was the other side. Anyways, but you get my point. Uh, it's not like you're going to absolutely get everything that you need just from using the stack commands, but you will get much more. You have the ability to know what you're looking for, or to know what somebody's going to sell to you, or what you can sell to them. There you go, 8875. That's the other trader. 8875 is Interstellar Innovations. This is the guy that sells appliances. There you go. See, if I didn't know what Interstellar Innovations meant, I look at their general stock here, and I can tell appliances. Done. Am I even gonna go for this trader? No. Unless for some reason I want to see if they have an auto lathe package, or a weather station. You know, I could try to filter for stuff like that. Anyway, sorry. I went really long with that one. Did not mean to. Uh, but yeah, these commands are powerful. They allow you to filter out a trader's wares before you even can contact them. And if you don't know what a trader is potentially selling you, Even just having a general inventory like this can let you know easily whether this trader is somebody worth contacting them and bringing down. So, yeah, this is Shadow Drake, and I hope I explained the dish stack commands. I'm really, really hoping and holding out for the devs to add either a stack command or a logic so that we can have our 3 IDs. Uh, Probably may not happen, but I can hope. So yeah, this is Shadow Drake. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.